Yes lads, what is going on? Harry here. Welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And if you do enjoy the video and you find it of value, please do consider giving it a like. Now, I made a video a couple of days ago explaining how to play Sorare's new Rivals game. Now, it's been out a week and some things have kind of changed as far as strategies go. There's loads to talk about, and I thought I would make sort of an updated version of that. We're going to go through how it all works on the phone, this time on the mobile app, because you are able to play it on the mobile app if you didn't know, as well as the desktop. Now, there's loads of things to go through. We've got rewards to cover, we've got strategies, we've got flaws, we've got UI, and more. So if you enjoy the video, lads, like I said, please do leave it a like. And we're just going to get straight into things. Now, we've got 20 minutes until the African Cup of Nations game between Ivory Coast and Nigeria starts. And I thought it would be a good chance to kind of showcase some of the things that are going on right now in the early days of Sorare Rivals. Now, I've got 12 arena tickets, which allows you to play in the arena in Rivals. So there's kind of two parts to Rivals right now. You've got the arena, and then you've just got, playing against your friends. Now, when you play against your friends, yeah, it's all fun and whatever, but it doesn't actually mean anything as far as ELO goes. Now, what is ELO? It's basically the score that you're given in the arena. So as you can see here, it says you, meaning me, and I've got a score of 120 points, lightning bolts, whatever you want to call them. That is my ELO score, basically. The higher that score is, the higher you're going to rank on the leaderboards. And right now, that doesn't necessarily mean too much. So I haven't really given too much away as far as, what you're going to win if that's the case. If you're in the top 10, 20, 30 in the world. I'm nowhere near that. I haven't really played enough games, nor have I really taken it serious enough yet. But I think it's a really cool concept, and it's something that I'll definitely get more into alongside, Sorare Pro. So what we're going to do, we're going to set our lineups for this game and see basically what we can kind of build. Now, an obvious one is, you don't want to set these lineups until at least an hour before the game. Because if you set them a couple hours before the game starts, you're not going to know who starts the games. Now, the good thing about Sorare Rivals compared to Sorare Pro, the actual, five-a-side game of Sorare, is, we don't know the lineups prior to, the game week's lock-in in Sorare Pro. Whereas on Rivals, we know who's starting the games if you wait just an hour before, like I've done here. So the game starts in 18 minutes. If I'm within that hour, I'm probably going to know who is starting. And Sorare even, tells us that information. So as you can see here, Yaya Fofana is starting for the Ivory Coast. His L16 average is 66. So I would be spending 66 points on him. I've got 250 points to spend across the 5 players. Now, Ivory Coast are the home nation of the AFCON game. So I am quite inclined to go with Yaya Fofana, but I'm going to skip goalkeeper for now and move on to defense, where, as you can see, my Willy Bowley card, who is in the Ivory Coast team, he's not actually starting though, because obviously the icon at the top is showing that he's not. And I own his rare card, in the Sorare Pro game. Now, you can use Sorare Pro cards in Sorare Rivals, and it does give you an XP boost, like I mentioned in my first Sorare Rivals video. But we've come to find out that if you play a common, like a full common team, so if I have 5 common cards in all of my positions, and I go into the arena and play against another player, another user at random, the system seems to match you up against another player with 5 common cards. So there's no advantage to the other player, as in he doesn't have any limited or rare or super rare or even unique cards, meaning that you're playing against him on an even playing field. Whereas if I played my Willy Bowley, let's just pretend Willy Bowley was starting. For argument's sake, I'll just randomly put some of these cards in. I'm not going to pick these. We're going to go back and change these around a little bit. But let's say I just pick that team, right? And I have one, pro card in there. I have a rare. Could be limited, it could be super rare. Like I said, it doesn't matter. The arena system on Sorare will put you up against another user that has pro cards. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean one, it could be multiples. So you're then going to be at a massive disadvantage. If I've only got 1 pro card and I'm playing against somebody with 5 pro cards, or 4 or 3 or even 2, and of a higher scarcity, the chances of me winning my arena game against them one-on-one is quite low. Whereas if you just pick 5 common cards right now, it seems like the system only put you up against, 5 other common cards. So right now, the meta, I guess, on the game is to just play 5 common cards. Now, I know that's not going to be possible. Like, person with, like, a lot of cards, let's say, you're not going to be able to, like, I can't choose the common version of Willy Bowley. If I can only play the rare version, which I have right now. Okay, so I've moved my team around slightly, and I've gone for a full Ivory Coast stack. I think they're going to beat Nigeria. That's sort of, my bet in that sense. So I've gone full Ivory Coast. I'm going to click continue. And now I have to choose my captain. So that captain will give me a 20% bonus on his score. I'm going to go with Ibrahim Sangara as my captain. I'm going to click continue. And then we come to the tactics part, which I explained in my first video. But you have 5 choices. You can basically go for tiki-taka, which, goes off passes. You've got Joga Bonito, which goes off contest 1. You've got all-out attack, which goes off shots on goal. You've got Park the Bus, which is effective clearances, basically. And then you've got Gegenpress, which are duels 1. Now, because I've gone with 2 defenders, I've gone with a defender in my extra position and a defender, obviously, in my defender position. I'm thinking the chances of me getting a load of duels 1 is a lot higher than it would be if I, let's say, went with 2 forwards in my lineup. I've also got Sangare, who's a bit of a beast when it comes to duels 1. So I think the tactic for me in this current situation would be to go for duels 1. But for example, say if I played 2 forwards, then it might be more beneficial to go with shots on goal, for example. If I've gone with 2 midfielders that like to get on the ball, then it could be valuable to go for the tiki-taka tactic, which gives you a bonus if your 5 players complete over 130 passes, 170 or 220. So we're going to go in with duels 1, which is Gegenpress. We're going to click continue. And that is looking pretty sweet. Now, you see here, it gives us the option to upgrade our players. So it's basically, Sorare want us to buy limited cards. They want to make revenue. That's how Sorare make money, right? Which I understand. But right now, the game is set up for me to not want to do that. I'm disincentivized to buy cards for Rivals. Because if I do buy cards, let's say if I buy a Serge Aurier for £4.69 at limited and I enter the arena, that means I'm going to play against somebody that could have like 5 uniques technically. So I'm going to click continue without upgrade for now. And now we get onto this dashboard, right? So you've got your friends, basically, the for you. You've got, your following, and then you've got requests, which is, an all friendly stuff. And that's under matchups. If we go to ranked, this is where you enter the arena and you use your arena tokens, which are here, and they give you an extra 1 every 8 hours, I believe. And you can also win them as prizes, which we will get into. So if I click enter the arena, that means I'll be paired up against somebody at random, in 11 minutes time when the game starts. And it's just my 5 against his 5, and whoever wins will gain more ELO points, the little lightning bolts. So currently I'm on 120. I'm an apprentice. You can view the leaderboards in here, which is nice. So these are my friends. So Ledinho from Sorare Data is at 262 points. We've got PSU fans 2 at 242, etc., etc. But if you go overall, we have a look. So Nacho Heras is top, 431 points. Guy in second, 430, and then 421. But I saw Sorare Data do a little experiment where they looked at some of these high-scoring players, and some of them don't own any Sorare Pro cards. They own no limiteds, no rares, no super rares, no uniques, which is quite interesting. It clearly shows that, the meta is to just play with common cards, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to click enter the arena. As you can see, it's taken away 1 arena ticket from me. I now only have 11. And at 5 o'clock, I will be paired against somebody at random. And we're going to see, who the better manager is in this game. Now, as you can see, also, we've got these arena challenges. Arena box rewards is basically what you're able to win from Rivals right now. And my objective is to win 3 consecutive arena matches. The first objective, I believe, is to win 1 consecutive. So, just win 1 match, which I've done. But now I'm on to the second sort of round of that, which is to win 3. I think it then goes to 5, then 10, I believe. I'm not sure what goes on beyond that, and I'm sure they'll update them over time. But these are the things that you can win in the boxes. So you can win arena tickets, like I mentioned. You can win cards, and you can win jerseys. Now, it says here, in each reward box, you are guaranteed a mystery jersey, a pro card, or arena tickets. We go to more info, and it gives us the breakdown here of the percentages of, what you can basically win. So, you're basically guaranteed arena tickets. So there's a 55% chance that, what you get as your prize is 3 arena tickets. If you're a little bit luckier, you could get 5. If you're even luckier again, you could get 10, which is a 5.4% chance. There's a 15% chance you win a tier 5 limited card, which you could sell for money technically. Tier 4 is 3.3%, Tier 3 is 0.9%, Tier 2 0.3%, Tier 1 is 0.1%, and I think Star Limited is like 0.03, I believe. A mystery jersey is like 0.01. So, the odds of it happening is very low, but I've seen people on Twitter already win them. Like, I've seen them on Twitter with my own eyes. People have won jerseys from these, Rivals, and it's completely free to play. Like, you're incentivized not to buy any cards to get any better. Like, playing with 5 commons right now, unless by the time this video's gone out, I'd assume they haven't changed anything as far as how that works, how they match you up. But right now, you're not incentivized to play with pro cards in the arena. It's all about playing with 5 commons, basically. Of course, you need to pick the right commons and have good cards that score well in those games, but ultimately, right now, we're disincentivized to buy cards. So I'm now waiting to see who I'm matched up against in the arena. We can go over to lineups, and over there we can check, my past history. So last night I played in the Morocco game. I actually won that game, which was fun. I also played the Tigres Club Leon Mexican League game, which I actually lost in, which is not ideal. It shows here though, you lose 5 lightning points or ELO points if you lose an arena match, and when I won in that Morocco game, I won 26 of those ELO points, if that makes sense. I kind of bumped up that many points. It won't tell you who you are ranked against yet until the game kicks off, but I am really impressed with how Sorare have laid out everything. Like, it is quite complicated if you're not familiar with the Sorare app prior to playing Sorare Rivals. If this is your introduction to the Sorare app, then this could be a bit overwhelming, but I do hope that this sort of video has helped things somewhat. And as far as strategies go, like I said, you are incentivized just to play 5 commons. It doesn't seem like right now the incentive is to buy cards. Now, is that going to change? Of course it's going to. Like, I'm sure it will. That's just me. The whole point of Sorare Rivals is to get people who have never played Sorare before, whether that's Sorare Pro, any form of Sorare, to play the game. And if you're completely new to the game and you've not spent a penny, then, Sorare are incentivized to want you to spend more money. And you can clearly see, like, when we did, create our lineups, they are pushing you to, oh, you should buy this limited card. But from how the Sorare Rivals sort of matchmaking system in the arena works right now, you're not incentivized to do that. And like I said, I think that will change. It kind of has to in a way. But it all depends on what Sorare want out of it. Do they just want, completely new users to get familiar with Sorare Rivals and then, like, not really buy too many cards and then buy cards if they want to play the Sorare Pro? Or is it just for them to learn the game? I think that they could sort of go hand in hand in that sense. But ultimately, Sorare are in the game of selling cards. So you'd like to think, even though Sorare Rivals isn't a game where you can win cash prizes in that sense, as you can in Sorare Pro, I still think they are going to want us to buy cards to play Sorare Rivals to get an edge. Right now, the edge is to not buy cards, if that makes sense, which is so counterintuitive. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Like, by the time this video goes out, maybe things have changed, but right now, I'm just telling you the information that kind of makes sense for the meta right now. Also, if we go from the home screen and click Rivals, it will give us a drop down of all the games that we are able to play over these next few days. So you've got the Egypt-Ghana game, which kicks off at 8 o'clock tonight. We've got the Vizela Sporting Club de Portugal game tonight. Premier League games in there as well. And I think it's going to be a great tool. Like, it's a really fun game to play. The one-on-one sort of head-to-head single game, strategies are really cool. There's a lot of things that go into the lineup building. Like I said, the tactics, it all depends on, if you go with 2 midfielders, 2 defenders, 2 forwards, and what tactics you end up deploying with that. And it's going to, differ game by game, of course. Ultimately, I do think Sorare Rivals will be a success, and I think it has been already. I think there's been some really interesting numbers playing the games. I've seen it in, like, the tens of thousands. It's a free-to-play sort of side game to the whole sort of Sorare sphere right now. Sorare Pro, the main game, has always been around and kind of always will be in that sense. But I think to supplement that, the Rivals is a great introductory game to Sorare if you're completely new. And even if you're not, if you're somebody like me, my 3rd year anniversary is tomorrow. Like, I've been playing Sorare for a long time. And even I'm, somebody who's played Sorare Pro for ages, I'm still finding a lot of joy and fun in Rivals. But right now, we're not incentivized to buy cards to get better at Rivals or to get an edge in Rivals, which I think kind of needs to become a thing, even though right now it's more beneficial to people who don't want to put any money into this game to play the 5 commons, right? So yeah, it's an interesting talking point. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. So to check the leaderboards, whether that's your friend's leaderboards or the global, you just have to click the top right hand corner where it has your little lightning bolt or your ELO score, and you've got my friends and then overall. I think we'll find over the next coming weeks and months where Sorare kind of reward the top X amount of the leaderboards, let's say top 20, whatever it is, with some really cool prizes. I don't think there'll be cash necessarily on offer or Ethereum, but I do think there could be really cool experiences, maybe match day tickets, maybe more merchandise in that sense, like, signed jerseys, whatever it is, even cards as well. Obviously, we've seen the cards in the reward boxes, but I think there will be something. There has to be a carrot, I think, at the top, to incentivize people to really get good at this game and to continue playing and to get an edge. And like I said, right now, the edge is to not buy cards, and that doesn't make Sorare any money. I think something will have to give there, and I think that dynamic will change. But right now, the way to get more ELO points, more lightning bolts, is to literally play 5 commons where you can. I think Sorare will eventually, and this is just my hunch, I don't know anything, like I haven't got any inside information in that sense, but I do think eventually we're going to see sort of, you know, the X top 100, top 20, top 1000, whatever it is, of these leaderboards rewarded with something, whether that's every week, whether that's every month, whether that's every quarter, every year, who knows, every season. Like, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I do really think there will be some sort of incentive. Okay, so to find my lineup whilst it's live, we go over to the My Lineups tab on the bottom of the screen, and as you can see, you have to kind of scroll down because these are my past lineups over the last couple of hours. But here we go. Ivory Coast versus Nigeria. This is my team, of course. I'm on 182 points as we speak. I've deployed the Gegenpress tactic, and I'm playing against a user called a Bubby. We're going to call him a Bubby. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. But okay, so it's gone to 183 points now, so somebody's just gained a point. You can see, you know, whilst we're live, all the statistics for those games. They won't be, if we click into that, we can see our opponent's team. As you can see, I'm currently winning by 2 points. So this is his team. He went for Fofana, Aurier, he went for Frank Kesse, he went for Oshiman, and he went for Jean-Philippe Carasso. So a different team to mine. He's gone for the Gegenpress as well. So we've both gone for the duels one tactic, which is interesting. So we'll see how that all pans out. Obviously, he's gone for Osimhen, so he's expecting Osimhen to score a few goals for Nigeria. But that doesn't really make too much sense because he's got Osimhen as his captain, but then he also has Yaya Fofana as the goalkeeper. So that kind of quite counterproductive. Having the striker of the opposite team to your goalkeeper, I don't know how much sense that really makes. But who am I to judge? We can also scroll over to the live feed, and it'll kind of give you a rundown of your players and how close they are to sort of, you know, capping out to 100 points. 100 points is the maximum any player can score on Sorare, whether that's Sorare Pro or Rivals. And then you can see the lineups here, and the scores will update, you know, as we sort of are on here, which I think is really, really cool. But there is a little button down here to say make substitutions. So you can make a substitution in Sorare Rivals. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because that would probably make me lose this game in that sense. But let's say, for example, I see Serge Aurier go down injured. I'm watching the game live, and I can see that, like, he's really badly hurt, and we can see somebody on the side of the pitch about to come on the pitch. We can click make substitution. We can then take out one of our players. So let's say, you know, we take out Aurier, and we can replace him with that player that's, you know, coming on the field in that sense. Now, I'll lose all the points that Aurier would have got me. So say if Aurier was on like a 60 points, let's say, for example, at like the 40th minute, which is quite unrealistic, but it could happen. And he goes down injured, right? I look on the side and somebody's warming up. He's about to come on the field. I can click, you know, replace Aurier and bring on his replacement. It doesn't matter how many, you know, L15 points he costs. And then I will take, you know, that player, and he will replace Aurier, and he will start on 25 points. So, you know, it all depends on the situation. Like, if somebody goes down injured, you know, relatively early on in a game, like in the first 10 minutes, first 20 minutes, and there hasn't been many points scored, in this case, you know, let's say, you know, Aurier, for example, again, I could bring on his replacement as long as he hasn't entered the field, you know, as I'm watching the game, if that makes sense. So, you know, the substitution situation is one of the ones where, like, you're only going to use them if you're watching the game live, if that makes sense. I'm not watching the Ivory Coast game right now, so I'm not keeping up to date with, you know, who's injured, who's not in game, you know, in play. You kind of have to be watching the game, I would say, to make use of this substitution rule. Otherwise, you just, you know, you're just guessing, basically, aren't you? So, interesting one. But that's basically Sorare Rivals in a nutshell. The strategies, the rewards on offer. I hope this video has been a little bit more informative than my first one. The first one, you know, I basically made that as soon as Sorare Rivals was launched on desktop. It's now out on the app and, of course, desktop. So, yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I hope I've explained everything as best as I can. If you are completely new to Sorare Rivals, there's a link in the description that will send you to Sorare Rivals, and you can sign up that way. I hope you've had a great day, guys, and I shall see you in the next video.